screen, so I'm hoping I'll see when we go live. If not, your thumbs up works for me.
I think we are live.
It's live.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, happy Monday. Welcome to Monday Biz Motivation with the Culver City Chamber. I'm Candance Simmons, a board member of the Culver City Chamber. I'm also a business owner. I own All That and More Boutique here in Culver City, and I have the pleasure of hosting these weekly shows with Rafia Cooper, who's an ambassador for the Culver City Chamber. She's also a business owner. She owns Rafia Jewelry. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rafia. Well, wait a minute. Let me back up. I want to let you know why we're here. We're here. We're here to share some of the amazing business owners that we have here in Culver City that serve the Culver City community. We're also here to give you an opportunity to ask questions and get to know them. The mission of the Culver City Chamber is to be a connector of resources, people, and ideas. And so with that, I will turn it over to Rafia. Take it away.
Thank you, Candance.
Thank you.
So we are definitely live. We have our little bumbles along the way, but hey, that's what's the beauty of this, right?
We're being social. It's social.
It is definitely. So for those of you who are out there watching, please ask questions, share our video, and invite your friends to watch it. But if you have any questions of any of us, please put it in the comment and we will read them out loud, okay? So today our wonderful guest is Joel Vendette from Compass. And hi, Joel. Welcome to our show.
Hi. Happy Monday. Hi. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. So we're going to talk about his business, and if you can start by telling us a little bit about what you do and how long you've been doing it.
Oh, geez. Okay, so I am a residential realtor based in LA. I live over in the Marina Del Rey area. Okay. My offices are based in Beverly Hills, but right now I work from home like everybody pretty much does. I've been helping people find their places in the world for about 9 years now. Okay. So it's pretty awesome.
And what is the current market like out there?
Insane. Absolutely. It's crazy right now. It's a world I don't think I could have ever predicted based on where we are and, living through a pandemic and all that stuff. I don't think anybody could have predicted what's going on. It's crazy.
Wow. When we started the shows, and also when the pandemic started, it was in March, and we are now in February, coming up on a year.
So, happy anniversary.
Yeah, no, we don't want this one. We want to get this one back. So, Joel, we've had a few realtors on the show before, and they talked to us about the various protocols and how the market had been impacted. Mm-hmm. So now that we're further into this almost 1 year, what are some of the things, I know. What are some of the things, Joel, that you've noticed that's different in the market that you think our viewers would be surprised to find out about?
Well, I don't think anybody's surprised that everything is ridiculously expensive right now. I don't think anybody's surprised by that one. Right. I do think that what is happening is that we're starting to see it's okay to make an offer now. Things that have been sitting for a while now, I think, if things have been on the market for a little bit, I think make an offer. I think the mentality that we're going to have to start getting people used to is that it's okay to make an offer now. Maybe not when it's been out for like 7 to 10 days. Mm-hmm. But if something's been there for a little bit, go see it and just see if there's a negotiation that can happen. And I think that's where hopefully we're going to get to that point where it'll level off, not for another year or so is the prediction. But I think that's the biggest thing for people is that it's okay to at least make offers now.
Okay. Is there more inventory than so the inventory is less and there's a lot of buyers?
Yeah, the inventory is really low right now. So that's one thing is that if somebody's interested in selling, this really is a good time to consider doing that because with the interest rates still being ridiculously low, I mean, a lack of inventory. If you go online, I know everybody uses the Redfin app and I'm not supposed to say it, but it's the truth. You go online and the second something hits, almost everything is now being labeled as a hot home. And it's like, and you're seeing this because you've got so many people looking right now Whether they're actively looking or they're just bored sitting at home looking at pretty homes online and hitting the like button, we don't know. But you are starting to see more and more, everything is a hot home, and things are just flying off the shelves because we don't have the inventory.
So what makes it a hot home in a true definition?
I have no idea. That's their algorithm. I think it's just more people, the more people who hit like right away, I think it just kind of does it.
So that's something the app defines that it's a hot home. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put that back in there. We won't mention that. We're talking to an expert here.
It's an algorithm. I don't do algorithms. That's for sure.
With that in mind, I guess things are not sitting for a long time.
If they're priced too high, they will sit.
Okay.
And I think we've also started seeing, like, in certain parts, you'll start seeing homes coming back on the market as well, which that's been an interesting one to watch. So it's worse. There's some weird pockets that are happening, but for the most part, things are just flying off the shelves right now.
When you say coming back on the market, so they sold and they came back on the market, is what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. So every now and again, I think a lot of people, I think some people are making offers right away, just to try to get something in escrow because they're getting so anxious about trying to find something that then maybe they back out later on. And so we're starting to see that might be, I don't know if that's the mentality or not. And excuse me, but my dog is right here, as you can probably see. And I don't know if you can hear him, but he is snoring. And he is out.
I thought that was a throw rug. I thought, that's kind of cool.
This is his energetic Monday right here. He's my baby. He's
your baby. Yes, I see many of your posts with the dog.
And we can't hear him or her. I can't hear him or her.
It's Chester. It is Chester. It's a him, Chester.
Okay,
but
Chester.
Yeah.
Chester's enjoying his Monday.
So I'm trying to understand this whole thing. Are people impulsively buying because there's not enough inventory, or is that something that they didn't think things through, or they're falling out of escrow, or?
I think what's happening, and I haven't experienced this personally, this is just kind of like my hypothetical as what I think could be happening, is that people who were losing out numerous times are just saying, like, I just need to buy something. And I think that's kind of where we I think that might be happening to some degree, but not a ton. But I do believe that people are just like, it's so cheap right now. The money is so cheap. I have to do it. And the prices keep going up. And I think there's something out there that's happening.
Okay. Well, thanks for clearing that. I just was trying to understand.
I hope that makes sense. I think so.
It makes sense. Yes.
In my mind, it made complete sense.
I know when I first bought my first home back in the 80s, it was similar where, we kept getting outbid, on different homes. And it was very interesting. You would merely just get to the open house and it was already had multiple offers, and it was, hard to compete. So I think we're kind of in a similar situation, except for the interest rate is very low right now.
Yeah, the first time I ever bought a property was 16 years ago. And so I remember going, and I just kept losing. And the one that I wanted, I lost out on it in the multiple offer. And then that offer fell out. And so they're like, hey, do you want to come back in? And so I was like, well, yeah. And so I wound up getting it. And then that was right before we had that last big market crash, which we don't discuss. But I think that's the other thing. That's another thing that people think about. Make a backup offer. Like, sometimes, it never hurts. I mean, it is literally just a DocuSign document and an email. Like, I say people should be open to making backup offers as opposed to saying, oh, if it falls out, let me know. No, you want to get in there and line yourself up, because if it falls out, you could be the next one ready to go. You don't want to just kind of, and it's no commitment. It's just saying that you're going to do this. If you find something else in the process, you just pull out of that backup offer. And so I think that's the biggest things people should also
Excellent advice.
It never hurts.
Yeah. So do you do more listings, or do you do more for the buyers?
I prefer listings because I'm a control freak. I will admit that. But I do work with buyers. I do both, actually. Yeah, I'm not picky.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Joel, when we were, like I said, entering into this, the pandemic, there were a lot of things that we were seeing that folks were doing differently. Some of the looky-loos, and real estate market had died down because of
Mhm.
protocol and all those different things. Are
Yep.
you still seeing that, or are you seeing an increase? Where are the folks that you're seeing coming from?
Right now, I only see real qualified people coming through because in order for us to even show a property, there has to be we have a property entry advisory disclosure that must be signed prior to entry. If people refuse to sign it, we don't show it. It's as simple as that. We have the protocols everybody must do. We got the hand sanitizers by the door. We wipe everything down beforehand. You got to wear the mask, the social distancing, the full 9 yards. And I
Mhm.
think we're not seeing it's a scheduling thing now, so it's a bit stricter. We don't do open houses, no open houses at all unless they're by appointment only.
Mhm.
Um, and even that's not an open house; those are just scheduled showings. But
Mhm.
so no open houses, which I actually am I miss them because I just did them for fun. I just love talking to people and showing them the homes, and we just hang out and chill. I love that. But now it's actually much more structured, and then it also comes down to the seller, because if the seller doesn't want to let people in without seeing the proof of funds or the pre-approval, we can set those rules up as well. So that way, people are very serious about it and that they can afford it, which is a good thing.
He
It
sounds
just,
like my husband. He does mortgages, and so he was going to the open houses and sitting and talking to
Mhm.
people. He misses that as well. So
It was fun. Like I just had fun with it. Like you had music playing and people come in and you got to know them, and it was cool. But you know,
Nice.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So are you doing any like live virtual tours? So we've seen that those are taking place as well.
Not really. I did them when I had a listing that hit the market right when the shutdown started, and we didn't really know what to do. So
Okay.
I did set up an Instagram feed where I would just go to this house and try to promote it and have people tune in for it. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done because you were literally sitting on Instagram for 3 hours live. I
Oh my
mean,
gosh.
well, luckily this house was on the beach, and so I could kind of sit back and just watch it to see if people tuned in. And in the meantime, I just had the ocean playing, so that was fine. But yeah, I would do that for a couple hours for a few weekends just to try to get people to tune in and show them about the homes. But now things are changing, so we do the virtual tours, we do the walkthrough tours, we do all that kind of stuff, so we can do those things up front.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
crazy. It's crazy.
And what does your virtual tour look like? What does that consist of?
Pretty much what I like to do is just the click through walkthrough tour, so people can go online. The photographer that I've been using, she's able to create it, so you can kind of click through and
Okay.
go room by room. We'll have the floor plans there, and you can get the better feel for the property.
Mhm.
It's not the same as going to it. It's like we all do online shopping, and it's like you get it, you're like, I wish I could have felt that first.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and so it's kind of like that. But this is a good introduction for people to see it, and then they can decide if they want to see it in person from there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Absolutely.
it's always interesting on those virtual tours. And when I'm looking at things virtually, I'm trying to figure out, well, what angle did they shoot this at? Because that room could look really large and end up being really small depending on the angle that they're shooting it from. So I was like, now wait a minute.
Well, what I love is always the photos, because all the photos and the virtual tour are normally done at the same time or on the same day, and we were able to get the photos. Like you want to do the blue skies, and then you go to the virtual tour, like, oh, okay, that's actually the reality, and so
Mhm.
it's kind of fun to me. And I mean, there's no real difference other than the cleanup work that happens, but it's pretty fun. It's fun to
Does
see.
your photographer use a drone?
I haven't on these. I've been doing condos mostly lately, so yeah. But she does have a drone.
Okay. Yeah, those I like the drone shots because I was like, okay, now you get to see a little bit more to scale of where
Mhm.
the house is situated, a little bit of the neighborhood, high view of the neighborhood and everything. So yeah.
I love when people go looking at homes, because I do this as well. When something hits the market, I automatically go to the Google Street View and I will click up and down the entire street because I'm
Correct.
like, I want to see everything that's going on in that neighborhood. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Have you
it's a little.
tried have you tried doing like a video where you're actually showing it to another person?
No, I haven't done
Okay,
that.
because I know we were talking before the show a little bit about those shows on HGTV. And I think that maybe having a person to show it to and talking might be of some interest. And then you could show what they're looking at, and, you know, it might make a difference.
I'm scared to know how many takes that would take for me to do, because yeah, that's just me, because I would probably be
Don't
so
be a
seriously dorky.
perfectionist. Just go with it. Ask
think-
Candance. She's the queen of live.
Right. It takes some time. It takes some time, but you know, you can't replace talking to real people.
It's very true.
I think one of my most memorable realtor stories was my husband and I were looking in Phillips Ranch and in Rancho Cucamonga, and we were looking in Chino Hills, and I had found this place that I just loved. You know, it was like kind of dusk and the sun was setting and everything, and the neighborhood was really quiet. And we called the realtor during a game. And so he had some special sauce going on, and I kept pushing him to say, I really want to see this. How soon can we meet? How soon can we meet? And by the third nudge, he said, listen, it's not as quiet as it appears. He said, you'll get the freeway noise and everything. I said, oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. She's like, I'm not leaving this game, lady. I'm coming out to meet you. And here's why. And I'm like,
yeah, I
appreciate that.
I respect that great. I mean, I always tell people when they're looking to buy something, I'm like, I need you to drive by there in the evening. I want you to see what the neighbors are like. I mean, this is part of a buyer's due diligence. I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you if the school is good, because that's your impression. That's your decision.
Right.
You know, so it's like, as far as the neighborhood, if talk to the neighbors, ask them what they like about it. You're going to live there. I will tell you what I know, but at the end of the day, it is your money. I'm not going to tell you how to spend it. And so do your due diligence.
Yeah, when we went back, when we finally did meet with them, there were so many kids on the block. When we went back, the bikes were all outside in the middle of the street, and it was like a puzzle to finally get to the place. I was like, oh, great, different time of day. And
And it's true. And that's, people will go, and that's like when they would go to the open houses, you saw that things are on Sunday. It's a bright day. It's the weekend. Nobody's around. It's like, okay, we'll drive in at night and see what you think when people are back home from work, and, everybody's out and about, and get a feel for the neighborhood. Like, really get a feel, especially if you don't know it. That's the biggest thing, is you want to take your time to explore. I'll tell you where the shopping is. I'll tell you what things are to do nearby, but make sure it fits your lifestyle.
Exactly. And going back to something that you said earlier about how, people are just making offers because they missed out on other offers, and then so they're kind of settling. So I know I've purchased 2 homes in my lifetime, and both times my thought was that it was a feeling. You walk through the house and you know that that's your house, and it's a feeling that you get. That, I can live here, I can be happy here. And that's what I think might be missing for those that are missing out on stuff, so it might be worth waiting to get that feeling.
And that's where it gets, and that's the tricky part, is that I think that's very true. When you walk into something, if it's meant to be, you just feel it. You feel it in your bones. And I'm nervous. I don't want people to feel like they have to rush into buying something, but at the same point in time, you don't want them to overlook something because I've had that before, where I've had clients where they're like, oh, I really love this house. I love this house. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute, hold up. I get what you love about it, but the reality is this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. This will work, but these 17 things aren't, and you don't know what you're doing to fix them, to make them to work. Let's go back to this other one, because it ticked all these other bells. It was about 90% there. So let's not get distracted by just these 2 items. And then they go back like, okay, this one does make more sense. And they've been there for about 4 years now. So I think it's about, you have to have that feeling, but you've got to also be open to really exploring what is there, and don't feel like there's always, it's kind of like everything in life. We always feel like there's going to be something better coming, and there may be, but are you willing to pay for that? Because that's the other issue.
Going to maybe cost you more. Yeah,
Right.
Exactly. And you're never going to get everything, you're never going to get 100% of everything that you want. But
even if you're building it,
is there.
Yeah, even if you're building it from the ground up, by the time it's done, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I wish I had done this as well."
Right.
Like, there's always nothing. There is no utopia. I wish that there was, but there's not. Wah, wah.
And so a lot of times, like, you make your house later, like there are different reasons for buying your house, so for me, like when I first bought my first house, it was like 5 years. That was my plan. I want to stay in it for 5 years, and then I wanted to do something else, whether it was an upgrade, a bigger house, whatever. But there's always reasons why you buy what you buy, where you buy, and then
Mhm.
as your time frame and your age and your all of that, you've raised your family, if you're going to downsize, there's so many factors in all of
And
this.
it's also just the maintenance of a house that I don't think people
Mhm.
take into consideration, because when I'm working with first time buyers, I talk to people about condos all the time, because I'm like, okay, let's look at the pros and cons of each one. Do you
Mhm.
want to pay for the sewer line? Do you want to pay for the roof? Do you want to pay for your gardener? Do you want to pay for this? Or do you just want to write a check and be able to go out your door every day? Like,
Mhm.
what's the lifestyle you're really looking for? And people, and oh, I want a pool. Okay, great. Do you want to pay the water bill? Do you want to pay to heat it? Do you want to pay for the pool man? Do you want to pay for all these other items? And they're like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm like, right. So let's do the condo where you may have the HOAs per month, but you don't have to deal with any of it unless there's an assessment and all that other stuff. But you got to talk to people about their lifestyle and what they want and where they see themselves.
Right.
Exactly. There's
Which
so
is,
much to take into account.
yeah,
Exactly.
we're therapists. That's what we do as well.
Well, speaking of lifestyle, Joel, like I said,
Uh-oh.
we've had realtors on the show before, but I don't think I've ever asked this question. But as we were speaking,
Oh,
I
now I'm
said,
scared.
but no, it's not a stumper. But I'm just
She
thinking
asks good
about
questions.
the viewers, and a lot of folks look at a realtor and
Mhm.
they say, "Oh, I want to be a realtor. That's definitely something I want to do." And I think a lot of people get into it not knowing, the various things that they have to do and what they have to understand. And there's so
Mhm.
much that goes into it.
Mhm.
So, if you were looking at someone or speaking with someone that said, I'd like to get into this industry, and they started talking to you and asked you, what is it that I need to pay attention to have longevity in this industry? Because I've had a lot of friends jump in and then they jump out.
Mhm.
So what is giving you longevity as a realtor?
Well, I think for me, it's patience, and I've had a very good support system.
Mhm,
I've been very fortunate for that, and my business has grown over time very gradually, and I've been very blessed to have it be repeat and referral business.
mhm,
Um, I think the biggest thing that people don't understand is when you're not necessarily just becoming a realtor or an agent, you're starting a business from the ground up, and I
mhm,
think that's the part that people don't necessarily grasp fully before they get into it. The projection is that it takes you about 10 years before you're fully established.
okay,
So, in that time point, you have built a business,
mhm,
which means you have paid for your marketing, you have paid for your classes, your continuing education, you have expenses. And so, I mean, it's so funny because I've joked about this with so many people. It's kind of like school. You take your classes and you pass all your exams, you do all this kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden you get out in the real world and you're like, going, oh, I have to pay for this now. And so it's like, it's kind of like everything in life. You don't think about it while you're getting your classes, but it's
mhm,
very hard, and it's a 7-day a week job, and people will call you at all hours of the day and night. Whether or not you answer is another story, but they do text you, they ask you questions, and it's just like you're like, oh, okay, okay. And so it's a continual learning curve,
mhm.
and it's hard, but it's fun. It is a lot of fun. When I see somebody cry when I give them a set of keys, I'm like, yes, yeah.
And I think that's the only part that, I know I see. It's the showing of the property, it's the handing off of the keys, but there's so many other things that go in between that are
Mhm.
important, and
Yeah.
that are keys to even selecting a realtor, you know.
I think the biggest advice that I could give anybody, because before I became an agent, I went through a few agents as well. And I think the biggest thing is you have to find somebody that you feel has your best interests at heart. You have to
Absolutely.
know that you can talk to them. There is no game involved. Um, whenever I work with my clients, I just tell them, like, look, I can't answer these questions for you. I
Mhm,
cannot tell you if this school is good. I can tell you where to go do research to satisfy yourself, I can't make that decision for you. The reviews are what they are, but I can't, like if you think the neighborhood is loud, I'm like, again, these are personal decisions. I can't tell you the neighborhood is louder than someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
All I can do is guide you and be there for you and help you take the paths and the steps to make that informed decision. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm just going to write a check. And it's like, then they don't realize what they got into.
Right.
And so it's like, I really want to guide people through the entire process to help them make an informed decision, because it's a lot of money. And I don't care what your budget is. If you're spending $200,000, which I'm sorry, anybody who thinks that's not a lot of money, whatever, a couple $100,000 up to a multi-million-dollar properties, it's your money, and make sure that you're protecting it and doing the best that you can with it. And that's what I really want to help people with.
What was that?
Yeah.
What was that point in your decision to become a realtor? What made that solidified decision to do this?
I was an art director for about 15 to 17 years. And I got tired of sitting behind a desk, and I really wanted to do a career where, one, I was in control, and I was able to work with people on a one-on-one basis and really impact their lives. And, I've always loved architecture. I've always loved homes. And this was just kind of something I'm like, well, this sounds like a good fit. Let me give it a shot. And I was very fortunate. And when the first time I ever brought a property out, but the agent I had at that time was incredible. I mean, I'll never forget, we were looking at a property, and it was a townhouse, and I'm walking upstairs as he's coming downstairs, and he's like, "You're not buying this." And I'm like, "You don't know me. You don't know what I'm going to like." And then I come downstairs, and I'm like, "All right, you're right. It wasn't good for me. Whatever." So I've kind of molded my career and how I talk to people as that, is to just say, "This isn't right." Like, no. And so that kind of stuck to me, to know that you can have that kind of a personal impact on somebody's life. And
and a big decision. I mean, buying a home is the biggest decision.
Yeah. And it's, like I said, I always joke around. When I give my clients keys at the end of it, I'm like, I expect tears, and if not, I'm going to kick you in the shin. I deserve tears. And so, we kind of have, it's all about having fun with people as well.
But you're saying happy tears, not sad tears.
Oh, definitely. Unless it's from the kicking in the shin, you may not be so happy at that point, but I'll be happy. And that's what matters.
Exactly.
I've had a lot of caffeine. I warned you.
And that works.
It's great. I'll never forget the first time I met you. It was at a chamber mixer downstairs from my office, and I started a conversation with you, and it was just one laugh after another after another. I'm like, you got to come on my show.
You got to laugh. You got to have fun, especially now. I mean, always, but especially nowadays.
So I'm thinking that anybody who hires you as a realtor is going to have a bunch of laughs along the way.
I hope so. We'll at least have good, honest dialogue. That's for sure.
So you have to know that you're consistent, because virtually you've had the same impact, and I haven't met you in person yet. So.
As long as that's a good consistent, that's fine.
It is. It's a good consistent.
Okay,
I love to laugh. That's so
I appreciate it.
I know, it was so funny, because we were downstairs at Earl's mixer, who Earl was on our show last week, and we were talking about the drinks that I forgot what he had made, and I said, well, if you come on my show, I make you a drink, and you were like, sign me up.
Done. On Friday afternoon at 3. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Although, why so late? But whatever.
Right.
Although I still find it funny, because you don't drink the drinks.
I don't drink the drinks, but I miss doing those, because they were so fun. It was fun to make the drinks for people too. But this is really fun too. It's fun. It's also very fun to do it with Candance, and it's great that we've figured out ways that we can connect with people and bring them these wonderful businesses that are out there, and wonderful people that they can work with and things. And so I'm very happy for this platform, and so happy that our chamber and Colin allows us to do this. So it's been wonderful.
That's been one of the biggest lessons I think we've all had from this past year, is how much we took for granted our social interactions. And so when you're able to do these things, it's not the same, obviously, but it's still, being able to talk to people, you realize exactly how much you miss that when you're just,
know.
I mean, I got him, which I'm very happy about, but you know, he's not very talkative.
Exactly. Well, so believe it or not, we're at that half-hour mark.
Oh my word, that was fast.
Right.
It goes by quick.
It does.
That was awesome.
It does.
It goes by quick. Absolutely.
At this point, we wanted to, for our audience, if they wanted to connect with you, how can they reach out to you to ask you to become their realtor?
Well, there it is.
There it is.
It's right there. The best way is always to just, you can visit my website, which is joelvendette.com, or just shoot me an email at joel.vendette@compass.com. Super
So if
easy.
you're thinking about selling, he's going to bring fun no matter what. So you're going to have a good time, and he's going to make it, you know, exciting and fun, and he's going to be honest and tell you exactly what you need. What more can you ask for, right?
Right.
I'm okay with that. Okay. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So there are so many other amazing things that are taking place in addition to this call that we have on a weekly basis. There's several events that we have at the Culver City Chamber.
Exactly.
And so Rafia and I get to share what our upcoming events are.
So February 8th, it looks like, at 2:30, we have our bi-weekly COVID-19 business roundtable. And so that's that's in a week. That's a week from today.
Yes. Next Monday.
Next Monday.
Yes, next Monday. I was going to say, oh no, but it's the 15th that our office is closed for President's Day. But there's a great event coming up on Tuesday, February 9th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And we're going to talk about labor law updates. So whether you have one employee or 500, there's various labor laws that have changed that we want to make sure that you're aware about. So join us. Go to our website. Our new website it's same address, but it's a great new format, theculvercitychamber.com, and you can see all of the great events that are taking place. But one of the ones that Rafia and I have continued to make adjustments to attend is an early morning event. we do better at the after fives. It's the early
We're
morning.
not morning people.
Right. Early morning coffee and commerce, which takes place on the 17th. It's always the third Wednesday of the month. If you guys want to kind of put that flag there, it's the third Wednesday of the month. And this next one is on February 17th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. And it's virtual. So we've gotten better at it. We've gotten a lot better during the pandemic.
And actually, it's better virtually. It's later. When we were meeting in person, it was at 7:30. So maybe when we go back to meeting in person, it'll still stay at this later time.
Yeah, it was interesting. I actually had gotten to a point because of the connections I was making at the chamber. I was adjusting. I was there physically screaming, but in person I was smiling, saying, "Oh, I'm here. I made it." Yes. I think at anytime there's value added, you make those various adjustments, and that's what Rafia and I have done as we continue to connect with amazing members of the chamber, as well as business owners here in Culver City that have found their way to the chamber, especially during this pandemic. We've had many opportunities to connect. I think I met Joel initially at LAX Coastal Chamber, which is a chamber we partner with. And we also connect with the San Fernando Chamber and various chambers. So there's been great things, great connections that have come out of the pandemic as we try and find those amazing things that are a plus.
And absolutely, because Colin, who is our president of the chamber, he has done an amazing job of just, you know, bringing us all these different virtual events and things that we can do and continue to connect with people and network. So I think it's wonderful that we're doing this still.
And I think it's sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I don't mean to jump in on this, but I think it's actually the virtual networking. I've spoken to a few people. One thing which I personally love is whenever I walk into a room that's full of people, I get a panic attack. Like I'm like, oh, I can't do this. And so the virtual events, you've been able to establish friendships. So when we get back to in person, I think it's going to be so good for people to walk. You're going to be able to walk into a room and be like, I finally get to meet you in person. You know, there's going to be this anticipation and excitement as opposed to the anxiety of being overwhelmed. I think, yeah, I love that the chambers have been stepping up to do these things. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a great way of looking at it, because for those who do suffer from social anxiety, you know, you're right. This has been probably a great way of doing this. And then Colin does these like breakout rooms, you know, so you can even get more personal and, you know, just connect with 2 or 3 people. And it's a great way. But you're right. I mean, you know, I don't usually have social anxiety, but I wonder what it will be like the first time we go to one of these live, you know?
It's going to be
we're going to have to work on not being space invaders, because we've been so far away, 6 feet apart, you know, and it's like, oh, I don't have to stay 6 feet apart.
And we're all going to be just like spewing uncontrollably, like, oh my God, and it's going to be
right. Right.
I just want to hug everyone.
Yeah, I miss that.
No, I just really miss talking one-on-one to people and just, you know, giving everyone a hug, hello, goodbye, you know, just it's so different. But I'm glad that we're still able to connect in any case.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's one of the things that really caught my attention about the Culver City Chamber is the ambassadors. And now, you know, we've been ambassadors, we have them. But in addition to Colin, the staff, you know, Lauren and Monica, they do a really great job. And it's just so great to have a chamber where the staff, the president, the members, the ambassadors are all working together to create greater connections. So it's been really great for me and my business as well.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
Let's talk about the name of our show. What motivates you? Monday Biz Motivation. So Joel, we asked our guest first. What motivates you to do your business, or what's motivating you this week to do business?
I love what I do. I genuinely love what I do. You know, that's kind of the motivation to do it. I mean, in addition to, sorry, my dog is like snoring like nobody's business. If you could see this right now, you'd love it. But in addition to, he's out. He is out. That's awesome.
You're interrupting his flow. He's like, go to work.
Oh no, nothing is going to wake him up right now. One thing so like I said, I love the fact that I get to help people make their dreams come true. I absolutely love that I get to do that. But in addition to that, I'm a member of an organization called Home for a Home. And it's a group of agents. We sign up individually. And what we do is we donate money back to help build homes for people in Guatemala who literally have nothing but live in a shanty. So far, I've been able to fund the construction of 2 homes down there. And I'm on my way to working towards the 3rd. And so it's like, you know that you're helping somebody establish their roots here, or they sell their property, whatever they need to do here, but you're also impacting somebody there, and you're helping somebody get a leg up. And that's another thing that motivates me to just you want to do more, because you want to feel like you're giving back and contributing to the world.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And coffee, a lot of coffee.
So, Rafia, you're up next. What's your motivation for this week, or what's motivating you in your business?
Well, I've decided that this week I am going to, since last week I've decided this, but I'm going to follow your lead, Candance, and do more lives. And so I've been able to do a couple of the lives and actually make some sales in my business from doing it. So I thank you for your inspiration, for inspiring me to do that. And then the other thing that I'm doing that I want to mention on here is my Culver City Kind. I just made a video and I just posted. If you aren't part of the Culver City Kind group, go on there and join us. We have a lot of great inspirations and things. And today is February 1st. So I am challenging everyone to spread 14 days of love. So it's really simple. Just, any act of anything that you can bring a smile to someone's face and show them some love, it would be great. One of the ideas that I put on the video today was just, you know, if you have grandparents or parents that are elderly, you can call them, write them a note, send them a card, send them a text, you know, anything to bring a smile to their face. Everyone's feeling very isolated. It's now even a better time to spread the love. And I'm giving away some giveaways from the winners who do these things. So those are my motivations. And I'm excited about Heart Month and Valentine's Day. It's always a fun month.
Yes.
And what about you, Candance? Oops,
Where'd she go?
went away.
She's like, I don't feel like answering that question. I'm good.
She went away. Maybe she didn't want to tell us.
I am here. Let's see.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you. But that's okay. We're live.
Okay.
So for all
I've
you
been-
guys watching, we are live.
Yeah, I've been here
rolling
before.
with it.
So even though I'm dark, I'm gonna go ahead and share with you what's my motivation for this week.
Please do.
So my motivation, just like you, Rafia, I love love. So my motivation this month, it's definitely Valentine's Day coming up on the 14th, but it's also Black History Month. And there's been so many amazing icons and legends that we've lost. Just recently, Cicely Tyson. And, you know, as you shared, there's just so many things we can do to connect people. So my motivation is, you know, a lot of my clients are looking at Valentine's Day with gloom. And I said, listen, you can be your own Valentine. You can call it Galentine's Day, you know, and just show yourself some love. So I'll be focusing in on creating, you know, more love within not just my community of women, but just people in general. You know, let's love on each other. Let's find more ways to spread that. So I'm right there with you.
Great. That's wonderful. And for those of you guys who are watching out there, I know there's several people watching on this, and we appreciate you. If you are interested in becoming a guest on our show, contact one of us, and we're happy to interview you and promote your business on here. We're not going to be doing one of these on President's Day. I think that's the 15th. So other than that, we'll be here for the rest of the month of February, and I believe we already have our guests committed to those dates, and we will have more guests lined up for March. Okay.
Yes, we will.
And I'm sorry we can't see you, Candance, but
I'm here. I hear you.
What happened?
I don't know, but I think we're at that point where Rafia, you would close us out.
I can do that. Okay, so Joel, I'm so, you know, I know this wasn't in person, but it felt so good just to see your face and talk to you.
You as well.
I appreciate you coming on and
is
sharing
fun.
your business with us. And for those of you who are watching and are interested in contacting him, we put his information on the ticker down below. So please contact him and get your home listed, or if you're interested in a particular property, you can contact him as well. And for Candance, contact her and watch her live. She's always on there. She's fabulous. So thank you all. I appreciate you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.